I know y'all probably can't see her, but Mia is literally just like right here. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So if you're new here, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications icon because I always post every Tuesday and Thursday at 4 p.m. on the dot. Never miss it. I'm on top of my stuff, guys. So without further ado, let's get started. I know y'all probably can't see her, but Mia is literally just like right here. She's asleep. Oh, and look at my little skull hands. Aren't they cute? They're so cute. They're little hair clips. I got them from Wish. I don't know if you can see this one. I thought they were so cute. Hey guys, what is up? So today I'm going to be talking about the time that I barely passed my driver's test. So if you know me, you know that I am very cautious and scared when driving. Not scared for the way I drive, but scared because there are idiots out there, like tons of them. Every single day, even if I'm not driving and someone else is driving me around, it just blows my mind how many times someone almost hits us or someone cuts off, someone just, all these things drive me crazy. Okay, so anyway, back to where I was. So I believe it was just 2 years ago that I got my driver's license. Maybe a year ago. Was it? I think it was like 2 years ago. Yeah. I don't know. I think I was still in high school. I honestly don't know. I'll throw up the date here. But anyway. So the day that I got my driver's license. Well, let's talk about preparing for it. So I already knew how to drive. But like I had barely started learning how to drive within that year because it was something I always held off trying to learn how to do. My dad would always be like, you need to learn how to drive. What are you going to do when you get older? And I was like, I'll ride my bike everywhere. I'll run. I have legs. God gave me legs. But of course, we all know we got to learn how to drive sometime. So I asked my best friend to go ahead and teach me. And so she did. Every once in a while, my dad would take me driving. But I hated that because he would be the one to just bicker, and my mom would drive me around, or like I would drive my mom around too, and I hated that too because she wouldn't really critique anything. She's just like, oh yeah, she's there on her phone, so it's like I'm fending for myself. Anyway, so yeah, anyway, I learned how to drive, but my biggest problem was with parallel parking. And so one of my friends who has a vehicle and she already had her driver's license, she offered to take me at night to the DMV to go practice my parallel parking. So I did it over and over and over and over again, especially within that week before my driver's test. And so yeah, I scheduled it and the day was here. So let me just tell y'all, I did not go to driving school. I did the whole ACE thing. Like, it's an app, I believe. It's like an online course that you go through. And it's a lot cheaper than going to the, like, driving school. And honestly, I feel like it's better just because it's on your own time, especially being a high school student. I didn't have all the time in the world. I was an athlete too, so no. So that was perfect for me. And basically it's about like reading articles on, not like huge articles, like little paragraphs on like driving with this kind of vehicle and motorcycles, and you gotta be careful with driving with the giants, which are the 18-wheelers and stuff like that. And I always was on top of it, and I passed that with like a high B. I don't think it was an A, but I think it was like an 86 or something. But anyway, I passed it, and I was like, okay. I printed out the certificate, took it to the DMV, scheduled my date to go get my driver's test done, and so the day was finally here. I used my dad's van. My dad has a huge van. My mom offered like, why don't you use your cousin's car because it's small and compact. But honestly, I felt comfortable driving my dad's huge van rather than a tiny little car that I wasn't comfortable driving, just because every car you get in has so many different types, like I don't know how to explain it, like brakes on each car, and the steering and just stuff like that. So I already was comfortable with my dad's van, so I was like, I'm just gonna use this. So me and my dad went to the DMV. We waited, and I finally got called, and so she was like, okay, bring the van over to the side of the fence so we could inspect it for like the, what is it called? The brake lights and the signal lights and stuff like that. So I was like, okay. So I got in the car and I drove it right there. And I was just waiting there and waiting. And then a lady comes and I was like, okay. I like that it's a girl. I feel more comfortable and confident. I was like, okay, so let's see. Hopefully she's not like a little B word. And no, she was just asking me to turn on the signals, and she was checking the back and the front lights, and that went fine, that went smoothly. And then she was like, okay, we're gonna go ahead. She got in the car with me, and she was like, we're gonna go ahead and get out of like the parking lot of the DMV. And I was like, okay. So as I was okay, this is the fence right here, this is the van, and the exit's like right here. So I was gonna turn like this. So as I'm going through the exit, I didn't turn on a blinker. She deducted points. I didn't think it started yet. That was gonna start once we got out of that. So I was like, okay. Anyway, she didn't tell me this, but I see her. Oh, she's gonna tell me this afterwards. So anyway, I didn't know about that. And my friends would tell me, even when you're taking the driver's test, even though it seems like so extra, you need to make sure you're checking all your mirrors, like not just checking them like you normally would when you're driving, but like make sure you move your whole head because they need to see it. And I was like, okay. So like I was constantly doing that, constantly. And if anything, that's a distraction from driving, because what the heck do I need to be looking back there for when I'm trying, and when I'm at a stoplight, or what? I'm at a stoplight. Anyway, besides the point. So I knew what to do. I wasn't nervous, honestly. I felt really confident. And then we had turned into this little neighborhood, and we reached a stop sign, did a complete stop, looked both ways, proceeded. And then we came to another stop sign. I beeped up. So when we came to the stop sign, instead of like coming to a complete stop, it was like barely gonna come to that complete stop, and then I had already looked both ways and I just continued. So it did not completely stop. It was just like a little roll, and then I continued. And as soon as I did that, I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I was like, okay, that's fine. I can't not pass just because of that little stop. So we did all that, and then once we came back, I did not turn on my signal inside the parking lot. I turned on my signal to turn into the parking lot, but I didn't turn on my signal when I was picking my parking space. And so when we stopped, and she tells me, okay, well, here's your score, and I think I still have it, so I'll probably pop it up, or maybe I'll just blow it up here. But yeah, so I had barely passed. I believe I was like 1 or 2 points away from not passing, and she told me the reason was because I didn't look enough at my mirrors. That stop sign was a road stop. It was not a complete stop, and I didn't even use my blinkers when I was coming out of when we were first starting the test. Remember how I told you I was trying to go to the exit? I was supposed to turn my blinker, and I was like, okay, lady. So that's honestly the only reason. And ever since I told my boyfriend that, he thinks like I'm gonna be a crazy driver, and honestly I'm not. Like, I'm super cautious. Like, y'all don't understand. I think like death is everywhere, so I'm just like, get away from me, and I drive like completely fine. But yeah, that is the time that I almost failed my driver's test. But yeah, I mean, all ended well. Obviously, I did get my driver's license, and my dad was excited, my mom was excited. She was like, oh my gosh, I knew you would. And I was like, yo, you don't know I almost failed. But yeah, so anyway, that is the video for today. I hope you enjoyed this story. Please be sure to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notifications icon so you can be notified every time I do post. I post every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this. Bye guys.